Today we'll take a look at a new tool of mine, a SLA resin printer. I already have a conventional FDM printer. The new printer is not a replacement per se, both types has its place, but it should add some interesting capabilities. I opted for the Anycubic Mono, based purely on the spec to price ratio. The future will tell if that is a good decision or not. I complemented it with a wash and cure station, only since 3D printing is a tool for me and not a standalone hobby. I wanted it to be a quick, easy and a repeatable process for when I need it. In this episode we will set up and calibrate the printer, and then we will use it to make a bracket for my front brake hose on my BMW F650. I recently changed to a braided steel hose, and it's a little bit tight to use the original brackets, so we will make an extension. Calibration entails finding the correct exposure time for your printer resin combo. I did this by printing a so-called validation matrix. The idea with these is to compare the negative to the positive areas of the print. I will pay attention to the pillars and the hole section here. With a properly set exposure time, the amount of holes should equal the amount of pillars. Too short of an exposure time would yield more holes than pillars, and vice versa. I will also look at the infinity thingy in the middle. The edges should meet up neatly. If there's a gap between the geometries, that would indicate too short of an exposure time, and if they are flown together, it should indicate too long of an exposure time. Yes, that was a crash. I died a little bit inside. I leveled the bed a few days earlier, but it seems like I should have done it before I started printing during this session. It's recommended to use IPA in these washing stations, but I decided to try surface sanitizer, since I could get it much cheaper locally. It's still 80% concentrated alcohol and it seemed to work alright. After the alcohol had evaporated, I placed the print back in the wash and cure, and I cured it for 5 minutes on each side. Why? I don't really know, since it has a reflective surface on the bottom. For a bit of luck, I suppose. This looks good to me, honestly. I expected the stock exposure time of 2 seconds to be too long. But perhaps it worked out, since it's pretty cold out here and I used a darker resin. I can spot 12 holes and 12 pillars, and along with that the infinity thingy seems to meet up nicely in the middle. I'm also quite impressed with the details of the print. Here is a set of keys for scale. I kinda lucked out and found the correct settings on the first try. So I guess the only thing that remains is to re-level the bed to prevent another heart attack and then print a bracket for the BMW. I also emptied and cleaned out the vat between the prints. I used a common window cleaner for that. The bracket is fairly simple. It's designed to follow the shape of the OEM part. It also has a slot for a captive nut and the mandatory speed holes, of course. There seem to be a few places where the print did not stick properly to the plate. I will probably increase the exposure time for the bottom layers before the next print. Some slight discoloration on the sides. It is possible to see the layers in the radii of the slope, even though I printed this with the layer height of 50 micron. All in all, I think it turned out rather well. This will be a good application to see if the material can handle some abuse. So that's it for now. Check out some of my other videos and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.